And now kind of turn it over to you in terms of, do you have any questions about what's going on in the class right now? Are there any issues you've been experiencing that I can help with? Now, what about the different assignments? Are you guys kind of caught up in terms of knowing what to do and how to do it? Or are some of you guys a little bit fuzzy when it comes to what we're doing? Well, as you guys are thinking of things, let me just kind of, one thing that's come up a couple times is after I grade your assignments. So far I've graded reading reaction 1 and in-class assignment 1. And today I'm gonna start to grade the reading reaction 2 and in-class assignment 2. So basically, anytime I give you your feedback and I assign you a grade, you can access that in the same place where you kind of turn in the assignment. So that assignment section, you'll see kind of the feedback. And sometimes they'll say feedback unread. And when it says feedback unread, basically it means you have feedback that I put there. So I've graded it and I assigned you a grade and I've commented on your paper. And you need to click on that. So it doesn't mean that it's unread on my behalf. I've read it. It means that you haven't read it yet. So click on that, and then it'll take you to your grade, and it'll take you to your feedback. Because I can tell when you've accessed the feedback, and a lot of students, I've graded the papers, but not necessarily every student has received their feedback. So that means you don't know your grade. You don't know kind of how you did. So that's one issue that a couple students were experiencing. Otherwise, what else can I do to help?
So I just had one question. I know that the in-class assignments 1 and 2, you could pick which one that you wanted to talk about. But for in-class assignment 3, would you like us to answer both questions, or is it still the same choice that we can choose?
No, so for the third, this is a good question. For the third in-class assignment, you do both of them. So, I try to basically, every in-class assignment will be different, and you'll kind of see that as you move forward. Number in-class assignment 4 is different than 3, 3 is different than 2. So just, as long as you're doing what I'm asking you to do, if I say just pick one, then just pick one. If I ask you to, complete the following, you complete, everything I ask you to. So I believe both in-class assignment 3 and 4 are similar in the sense that you have to answer 2 different parts, kind of a general response and then a kind of short specific response as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So any questions about the course reading so far? I know, last week some students struggled a little bit with the sociological imagination reading, and that's perfectly normal. It's maybe one of the most difficult pieces that we'll have throughout the entire semester. But it's a good piece to start out with because it gets you to kind of understand what we do in terms of kind of looking at the social and the personal and the relationship between the two. But, if you read the Clark piece, much easier, much shorter. Well, usually it's kind of in the middle, Sometimes you may have to read it twice to fully understand what's going on. But for the most part, the readings will get easier compared to the Mills piece. So don't feel frustrated if that was a little hard for you because it's a hard article and things do get easier throughout the semester. And so, by now we're kind of getting through the subtopics for the first time, starting with the construction of reality. And then we talked about leisure. And then the next subtopic is gender. And then after gender, we get into social class and race. So, you know, as I have you here, just a heads up, you know, as I mentioned in the most recent class log, I have uploaded the directions for the first book report. And since there's a lot of information in the module, sometimes you may have to click on the load more. So, you know, you have all the assignments, you have all the different lectures. If you get to the bottom, for some people, you may have to click on the load more, and that will load more assignments, it will load more lectures. So kind of keep a heads up for that. If I'm uploading things, but you're not seeing them, basically you need to click on that upload more part. So anything else I could touch on to, you know, get into things further about our readings, or just again in general about the class?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we have to complete 6 of the reading reactions. So will there be a reading reaction for every like in-class assignment?
No, the reading reactions are basically, you have 13 opportunities to do them throughout the semester, starting at the Mills one.
Yep.
And then ending at the last reading before our final book. So every reading that we have outside of our 3 books represents an opportunity to do a reading reaction. So out of those 13 opportunities, you're required to do 6. You can do more for extra credit. So you can do up to 9. And then what I do is convert the lower scores into extra credit. The in-class assignments are a different assignment, but they are related to the reading, or at least a topic in the reading. And you know, I try to be kind of upfront heavy in the class with the in-class assignments, just to make sure that you're getting engaged. And so you're doing the work, you're thinking about things sociologically, but not every reading will have an in-class assignment with it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at the syllabus and like I see that there's like no like reading reaction like on it. So I didn't know if there'd be one like you just have to like look for it every time you have an in-class assignment or not.
Now, so just, you know, look at your syllabus, and every time you see in the course schedule, you know, I note, you know, the in-class assignment, and that's when, you know, it'll be due. But if you see a reading that doesn't have an in-class assignment next to it, then all you have to do is read the reading and complete the reading reaction if you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so you can think about it as, you know, there are 13 opportunities to do the reading reactions, and there are only 10 in-class assignments. So there'll be a few readings that don't have that assignment attached to it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So again, these are really good questions that, you know, I imagine a lot of people share, and sometimes I don't touch on them directly. So this is why I want to use these times to kind of touch on these questions. And, you know, when we get into our first book, you know, specifically, I want to use these times to talk about the book report assignments. You know, as long as you're doing the reading reactions and in-class assignments, point-wise, you should be in good shape. You know, I'll tell you, you know, where you're losing points for the reading reactions, and usually it's an easier fix. You know, just make sure to fully discuss the ideas. Make sure to get the, you know, 2 pages in length. The book report, on the other hand, you know, it's 80 points, and so 80 points is a large chunk of your grade, and, you know, 80 points times 3 is a big chunk of your total grade. So I'll spend more time in these live sessions kind of talking about the book reports, and it's because, you know, I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. But, you know, for now, I just like to use these opportunities to, you know, answer some questions that may have lingering since the beginning of the semester. So anything else I can do for you now?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in D2L, there's like the different parts, and then there's like the assignments and then the lectures. My question is, do you keep track if we do them or not? And does that count like participation grade?
I mean, I can see. So I can, the instructor for all your classes has access to the information about, how many times you've logged in the class, when's the last time you've logged in, if you've accessed any of the content. So, if you've accessed the assignments, if you downloaded them, if you're watching the videos and how long you're watching them for. So, all that information I have, but, I don't use that information to, give you points or take away points. Basically the participation part of the class is you doing the in-class assignments. So as long as you complete the in-class assignments, you're going to get the 10 points for that. So, you're required, you need to be keeping up with the readings no matter what. But, if I see you don't access a reading on time or something like that, I don't take away points. But, in a couple weeks, if I see that, students have totally stopped, logging into our class and stopped doing the work, then I'll reach out to you and say, hey, you're falling behind, so you need to get back into the swing of things. So that's how that works.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So anything else? Well, I don't want to keep you guys here longer than, we need to be kept. But I'll say, one thing again, as I mentioned last week, like any, normal semester, when we're meeting face to face, the first couple weeks, you do have to, adapt to things. You do have to adjust to kind of the way of things in all your classes. So it's perfectly normal to kind of feel that you're a little bit confused. You're still trying to learn, what's going on and, how I should be doing it. So, it's just not you. A lot of people are in the same boat. But, make sure that you're engaged because, the more you're doing things, the more you get used to doing it. And then it doesn't seem strange anymore. It just seems kind of the way of doing things. And you don't get that kind of psychological discomfort anymore. Kind of have that peace of mind that you need to take with you throughout the rest of the semester. And otherwise, as I always say, feel free to reach out to me. Emails, we can set up, individual Zoom meetings. And I think it's very productive when we do that to make sure that, again, we're all on the same page. So, what I'll do, I'll invite you guys to, log off the meeting now if you want to, but I'll stick around if anybody, has any questions that we can discuss, in general about our class or more specific questions as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for the in-class assignments. I kind of messed up the third one, but already turned it in. Is there a way you could return it?
You can resubmit it. I mean, you can submit another one in the same spot.
Okay.
And, don't worry about that. Again, it's kind of early in the game. Some people are putting in-class assignments in the reading reaction spots. Then, don't worry about it. Another thing is patience. Sometimes I'm going to screw things up and not catch it right away. So I ask you to be patient with me. And if you make little mistakes like that, just feel free to, resubmit things. And, I can catch on pretty quickly in terms of what's going on. So don't worry about that. Just make sure you get in the assignment and you'll be good.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Bye.
All right.